Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And 11.0.5 just dropped, and there is a lot of controversy surrounding this patch. A lot of players are very upset, and I think this comes at a huge surprise because one major improvement that has come to this patch is that our homie Kaivax came in and notified us that MMR has now been corrected in PvP and equalized so that our ratings shall once again be able to rise. And I have noticed the effects of that, and I've noticed the effects of it from a lot of other players going up maybe 100 to 300 rating in some cases, all in the bounds of one evening. And with this one major change, I was thinking that 11.0.5 is going to be a big turning point for the War Within to continue its trajectory that was already going in a fantastic direction. But there are some things that are now impeding it that are, you know, a little bit more than just a little bit of a class tuning knob adjustment away from correcting. And in today's video, we're going to be covering all of that has busted, all of the bugs that are coming through, and all of the problems that are happening as a result. So some of the biggest issues I would say with the War Within are bugs. I think that's been the case since the beginning of the expansion all the way up to this point, and it was the only thing really preventing me from giving the expansion a 10 out of 10, because I think in all other regards the expansion has improved leaps and bounds compared to its more closely released predecessors. I think that it's absolutely fantastic story. I love the introduction of fantasy and flavor of the hero talent structure. I love the way that the world feels, and I've had a great time with world PvP. But bugs, you know, the MMR being stifled was one of the biggest bugs that was coming through. Now, they have been very receptive to correcting these bugs, but these bugs in particular seem to be just like completely game breaking. So the first bug that I experienced yesterday, and you've probably experienced as well, was that when you land an interrupt on a cast, the cast just keeps going. You can land a kick on a cyclone and the target is interrupted, but the cyclone still comes through and hits somebody on your team and they're crowd controlled. And this is also working with Chaos Bolt. So, you know, a Warlock can cast Chaos Bolt, be kicked, and the Chaos Bolt still goes off. There's also a bug with cast bars where you can basically start your cast and stop it as if you were going to fake cast, but the cast just keeps going. And it connects. So you can just like pump cast a Chaos Bolt like 4 times in a row and they'll just all shoot off at the same time in 1 second. So this is what I mean by this isn't just like a, this class is a little bit strong right now. This is like a, what is going on? Like, I don't understand how this happened. Like, this is just like the most insane game-breaking bug that I've seen really ever happen for PvP. And then on top of that, we have like class-specific bugs. The most notable one standing out right now is coming from Beast Mastery Hunters with one of their hero talent passives providing entirely too much damage. It's providing millions and millions and millions of damage, and I got to experience that firsthand with a hunter training me down with his pets, and they were just absolutely shredding me to pieces. I have seen other players as well raising concerns that some classes' talents are not functioning or not functioning as intended, and it's actually led to a significant DPS loss in that regard. So some specializations are bugged in the opposite direction where they're performing weaker than the intended targets. A lot of them are performing better than the intended targets. We've had a ton of one-shots coming out, just a ton of them. Elemental Shaman is at the top of that list, I think, by leaps and bounds. I did try out the Lightning Shaman. You can follow me on my stream in the description down below if you'd like to see that journey live. But I think the Lava Burst version of Elemental is definitely over the top. If you're gemming into Mastery and getting Mastery stats and stacking that, and then stacking your haste with Primordial Wave and Heroism and all the other modifiers you have to stack haste, you can just lob out seemingly infinite chains of lava bursts to completely instantly blow the enemy team to smithereens, which came as a big surprise to me because they had preemptively applied nerfs to Elemental Shaman on this patch. So I'm a bit concerned that maybe those nerfs weren't actually applied, because there are other nerfs to other classes that didn't get applied. So those are bugged. So I don't know if this is like, this is how the class is and how it came through, or if it's just bugged. And it's like, I'm just sitting here really confused as to where to go and how to go about this and provide feedback for it, because I don't exactly know if like this is just how it is and it's like, oh, we'll tune Lava Burst down, or if it's like, yeah, all of these nerfs that were posted on the changes didn't happen, didn't go through, and that's actually the problem of what's going on. So I got really big concerns with this, because we got the one big W on the one side where it's like, yes, MMR is fixed, but now with all of these bugs, people are basically abusing the classes that are broken, and they're just skyrocketing up in rating and getting a whole bunch of rewards that are kind of unjustified. So it's now created like, this is honestly maybe the worst time for MMR to have been corrected in the midst of all of this chaos that's going on with the class changes. So it turns like this big W into kind of an L for this instance. But I will say they have been very responsive. So I am hoping that they will be responsive to this, because I'm not certain if like these cast bugs that are just described are only happening in PvP. It kind of seems like they are. And I'm worried if that's the case, that it might not get looked at, because it's like, but it's like the most groundbreaking bug I've ever seen. And it's just seemingly with every cast bar. So I tried to like replicate it and hone in on what was going on with it. But it just seems like it's either every cast bar or randomly, sometimes not every cast bar. I think it sometimes works with Hunter aim shot as well, where you can like start aim shot, stop it 1 second into it, and then it's technically still finishing the cast, and you could start a second aim shot, and that one's still going through, and you could just and just shoot like 3 aim shots off, all in a matter of 1 second, hit that instantly. And I think that's what people are experiencing with Marksman Hunter, because when I wasn't doing that, my damage on Marksman Hunter didn't seem like remarkably high. But then if other hunters are doing that and then timing their aim shots to hit at the same second, then there's going to be big problems. So if you want to jump into the mess, like you can. I don't know, because I'm worried that like if you're using these tools, like some of them are very exploitative, that like there will likely be actions against your account, right? We already saw that with the Race to World First, and you know, they were not lenient on them just because they were Race to World First guilds. When it was something to do with renown and they farmed like some extra item level, they got bans, and that set them back. And this seems like the same type of thing. So it's like, you know, you queued one game you didn't know, and it happens. You know, I feel like there's no problem with that. But if you were spam playing hundreds of games yesterday, and just like deliberately abusing a talent that's overtuned, or deliberately abusing this cast bar bug, so like all your spells just go through queued up at 1 second and one shot somebody, I would honestly be concerned. So it's honestly putting me in a spot where it's like, I'm trying to find the specs that aren't notably bugged like this to play, because I don't want to get banned in the future for something where like somebody goes up 7,000 rating in one night, and then suddenly, okay, like what happened here, right? Like this is going to be a problem. So I've got some serious concerns for this patch. I wanted to update you guys with it, because I think it's important as a warning, not as like a guide to show you of the exploits that are going through, but a warning, because they have banned people for doing stuff like this that's honestly way less impactful to the game as a whole as far as competitive integrity. This is like way beyond like, oh, you got extra renown and you got to give you like an extra 3 item levels or something. This is way beyond it. So I'm giving you a warning with this, you know, like queue in, play like you were going to normally play. And if you notice something that's really haywire, you might want to step it back. You know, I would recommend that you step it back. But other than that, thank you guys very much for tuning into the video. I hope that they look at these bugs sooner than later, because I know a lot of players are very upset by the current state of affairs. So thank you for watching. If you want to stay up to date with news related to World of Warcraft, smash that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.